Welcome to the Fabulous 413. I'm Khalees Smith.
And I'm Monty Belmonte. Hug Pesach Sameach. Happy Passover to all who celebrate.
Indeed, and happy Earth Day to all Earthlings. Later in the show, we'll sample one of Earth's favorite foods, pizza. Our continuing mission to find the best pizza in the 413 Pizza Quest returns.
We'll make a potentially ill-advised decision to eat at a restaurant on their opening day and sample the wood-fired pizza at a brand new place in Great Barrington called Uva.
Spoiler alert, it was not a bad decision. But first, I know Earth Day is when we're supposed to focus on being green, but I think Monty's feeling more blue than I am.
Are you Papa Smurf?
I'm not. I'm Mike Moores.
Springfield Materials Recycling Facility.
Smurf, yeah, not Smurf.
But it's Springfield, so
Right.
it's Smurf.
That's true. It could be Smurf.
Am I the first person to,
You
in
are.
all the years
You
that
are.
you've worked here, that
I've
put
never
this
heard that
together?
before.
Think of the marketing campaign you could go with it. The blue bins.
Right.
You could get licensing from the Smurfs people.
Gotta hire this guy.
Thought it,
Perfect.
but this is a Smurf where there's more than one person who is female or identifies as female. We've got more than one here.
Which is better than the Smurfs cartoon, right?
Why, I'm a Smurf, too.
She's the most Smurfy Smurf that's ever smurfed.
What's your day-to-day like here?
We open up early in the morning. Guys are coming in at 5:30 in the morning, and then we're just processing all day.
And you're running out to go check out another facility, or?
I oversee 2 facilities in Springfield. The other one's on Tremont Street.
Mm-hmm.
It's a recycling facility, but it's a lot different than here.
This is the big one, right? This is like mothership recycling.
Right, yeah. We process everything here. At the other place, we just have a baler, and we're just pushing material to the bale. And we do a lot of single stream.
Which means that everything gets
Everything
piled
goes
together
into
in one.
Everything goes into the same bin, yep.
Do you guys hate single stream?
No, of course not.
I wish we had single stream.
It's all recycling.
Recycling is recycling.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter to you.
It doesn't matter.
So then why does my town have paper one week and plastic the next week?
That's the stuff that's coming here. So it's
It is
separated.
generally dual stream recycling gives you a high quality product, and we have a lot of people who already know how to sort, so it's better to use their brains.
I'm lucky that I have a neighbor that made MontaguePaperOrPlastic.com. So every week I go to MontaguePaperOrPlastic.com. I'm like, oh, paper.
Right.
But it'd be easier if I could just dump it all into one thing.
I agree with that, but we're a dual stream facility, so we have to have it separated.
You gotta keep them separated.
My name is Susan Waite. I'm a municipal assistance coordinator for the Western District for the Massachusetts Department of Environmental Protection.
I'm Amy Donovan. I'm with Franklin County Solid Waste Management District, and I'm a member of the Springfield MRF Advisory Board.
Would it be unfair to call you trash queens of Western Mass?
Right, baby?
That's right.
We like to talk trash a lot. We're also the Smurfettes today.
Yes, because we are at the Smurf, the Springfield Material Recycling Facility.
So this facility is owned by the Department of Environmental Protection. It's owned by the state of Massachusetts, which is really special because mostly recycling facilities are owned by private corporations. So the Mass Department of Environmental Protection is overseeing this facility. And in addition to that, we have a very active MRF advisory board on which Susan and I serve. And we meet monthly. We review what's happening to the materials. And we do all kinds of public education campaigns like our videos that you can see on our website, which is springfieldmrf.org. The facility is operated by a private operator, which is Waste Management Recycle America. They do a wonderful job. They've been at the helm here for many, many years. And the 3 entities, the state, the private operator, and the advisory board, all really work together very well to make sure that the public understands what's acceptable in recycling and that our materials are recycled. That's very, very important to us. And we know where they're going. So a lot of them, most of them are processed here in the U.S. We have 11 different material streams that things are sorted into. And we have a lot of pride in this facility and what we do here. We're really special here in Western Mass. They don't have this in the rest of the state.
I mean, I've known for a while, especially after you were on the show the last time, but like my constant battle at the NEPM building is recyclables in bags. It is like my personal mission to go around and take the bags out
Right.
because it keeps happening.
Yeah, and the reason it's so important is because that we call those tanglers. The plastic bag stretches and it tangles in the machinery and makes a real problem for us. So keep it loose, baby.
Yeah.
And this is where your recycling goes in a vast majority of communities in the 413, it looks like. Here's a map over here.
65 communities in Western Mass have contracted to bring their material here to the MRF.
So my recycling comes here in Montague.
My
Yours-
recycling clearly comes here.
It doesn't though, right?
No.
Wait,
no.
this
It's
is
crazy because this is in
Wait a minute.
Springfield. We're in Springfield, and even the Springfield.
Wait a minute. Why doesn't my recycling
So there's
come
a good
here?
reason. There's a
Okay.
good reason. So this facility is located in Springfield. It's called the Springfield MRF, but it's not Springfield's MRF. It's with the Western Mass Regional Recycling Program. And so a few years ago, the city of Springfield had kind of a low recycling rate because of several issues, and not their fault or anything. I'm not blaming anybody. And they went from dual stream recycling, which is where paper and cardboard is kept separate from containers, to single stream, which is where everything is collected together. And when they did that, their recycling rates went way up. So single stream is good for communities that are getting a large amount of material picked up at the curb. Dual stream, if you can hold on to it as long as we have here in Western Mass, is great for transfer stations and some curbside communities that can easily keep cardboard and paper separate from containers.
We learned nothing from Ghostbusters. It's don't cross the streams.
Don't cross the streams. Why? It would be bad.
So some of the other missing communities there, and Susan, you're from Amherst, right?
Right, I'm from Amherst.
And Amherst is also not.
Amherst
regulated.
has elected to, so part of the value of bringing your material to the MRF is that not only do we process it here, but we also market the bales. We market the materials, right? So part of the value of signing on with us is that you know that you're going to be able to find a market for your material. There's a steady stream. You know how much money it's going to cost or how much money you're going to be receiving for the material. When you do not join the MRF, unless you have a contract with another single stream facility, you are on your own as far as marketing and stuff like that. So
Who's going to buy this crushed up trash to turn it into something else?
So Amherst has elected to do its own marketing, and
Shocking.
A lot of communities find the services that we provide here at the MRF, at the SMRF, to be of value and reliable, and we've been around for
34 years.
34 years, so go figure. One of the things that I wanted to point out, because this is it's a problem. People think recycling and they think everything can be recycled, and in theory everything can be recycled, but like putting fluids in your automobile, you don't necessarily put all the fluids into one place. There are certain things that need to go different places, and you all know, even if you put diesel fuel into a regular car, I don't know if you've ever done that, but you can really cause some problems. So similarly, this MRF is focused on household recycling from your kitchen, from your bathroom, containers, papers, junk mail. That's the material that we collect here. We do not collect other things that are technically recyclable, like textiles, like plastic bags, like scrap metal. So there are other things that can be recycled, but they aren't recycled here. So please don't put them in your bin. We take containers, we take paper. Bottles, cans, jars, jugs, tubs, cartons, and cardboard and paper. It used to be that a lot of attention was given to the kind of plastic that things are made out of, the numbers that you see on packaging, et cetera, and we don't do that anymore because, in part, the complexity of the packaging industry has increased. Just because something says PET on it, which is a number one plastic, for instance, it could have additives to it based on how it was produced.
But
so,
it still
for instance,
qualifies as number one.
Exactly. So forget the numbers. The numbers are important to industry people, but what we want people to focus on are the types of containers: bottles, jars, jugs, tubs, cartons, cans, and of course paper and cardboard.
Milk cartons that are paper go with paper or
No,
go with
no.
plastic?
No, they're a container, so it goes with the containers.
So it's less to do in that instance with the material. The other big thing I learned from you last time you were on the show, no ice cream containers.
Yeah, that's because of the, again, complexity of the packaging industry, right? Frozen food containers and refrigerated food containers have wet strength additives added to them. So they're a lot harder to find markets for. They're a lot harder to deal with.
Wet Strength is my new band name.
Oh, no.
Pizza boxes for the longest time were like, no pizza boxes in here. But now,
We want pizza boxes!
This is another fight I get into with people.
When the study was actually performed by West Rock Industries, it's a major cardboard pizza box producer, right? They do Domino's pizza boxes and stuff like that. So they paid for the study to be done, and they showed that greasy cardboard is not the problem that it was thought to be. So it's so much better when you think about a cardboard pizza box, right? The part that's greasy is actually really small. It's better to have all of the cardboard than to not recycle the cardboard box. So they proved with a study that the greasy parts of the cardboard are not the problem. Now, it has to be empty. We don't want any pizza in there. We don't want any of the little. We don't want the little plastic tables that hold the cardboard box up. We don't want the little sheets of wax paper. So completely empty pizza boxes are now recyclable.
And I'm assuming that the plastic tables are not recyclable because they're injected.
because they're not a container,
Well, it's not
a
a small.
jar.
They're too small.
So that
It's
brings
not
up a
bottle,
really
jar, jug,
good
tub, or a can, is it?
That brings up a really good point, Khalees. When we first got here, the MRF management showed us a couple of things that they keep getting in the loads that are these little plastic blocks, like from industry, from manufacturing.
Oh.
And we mostly have household recycling coming in here, so we're not sure where it's coming from, but it's literally jamming up the work. So it's getting stuck in the conveyor belts and shutting down the equipment. And that takes a while to fix, so it really messes up with the productivity and the efficiency of the plant.
Not to mention the safety of the employees who have to go in after it.
So we really want the public to understand that everything under the sun can't be recycled because of certain limitations of what can really be done. So anything that is smaller than 3 inches in diameter is too small for the machinery to sort, to see and sort and pick up, because the materials here and at many recycling facilities are sorted both by machinery and by people, and the material is going pretty quickly through the system. So it's not like somebody like me is there making sure every little bit gets recycled, because that's what I would do. But this is a business. This is not Amy's Recycling Emporium.
Everyone's got to have a dream, Amy. But also, that's the same reason why you want to keep your bottles with the caps on or throw the caps away, because they're too small to go through the machine. So.
You're becoming a recycling expert.
I remember
Khalees.
the
You want to put the
information.
caps
This is
on.
important
The
info.
caps, actually, the caps are made of a different kind of plastic that there's also a market for. So when the jugs and jars with plastic caps get processed, that plastic is separated. So affix your caps to your jugs and jars and tubs when they're plastic.
We're going to see what happens to my recycling from Montague.
Absolutely. So
I put
thought-
something specific in here and try to time it so that when we get here, we'd watch it go through everything. It's a pickle jar.
So
There's
first,
no way you had enough time to do that.
Let them suspend their disbelief, Khalees. Shall we go see where the magic happens?
yes, we're gonna go.
Let's go see where the trash gets made.
La 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 la.
Except it's not trash, it's recycling.
Coming up, we'll weigh a recycling truck from Hadley, watch Holyoke's high-tech dump truck technology in action, and as we separate the paper from the containers, we'll separate the truth from the fiction when it comes to how much of your recycling is actually getting recycled as we continue our Earth Day tour of the Smurf.
And later, the return of Pizza Quest, our enduring journey to find the greatest pizza in Western Mass. We serendipitously stumbled into a brand new pizza spot in the Berkshires on their opening day, and we were their first paying customers ever. We'll sample the pizza at Uva in Great Barrington.
You're listening to the Fabulous 413 on 88.5 NEPM. We're going outside. We're going to watch a truck. We're going to watch it in real time. So a waste management truck is driving up onto this scale. It's like a weigh station on the highway, except this one's open. Those are never open.
Okay, so this is probably coming from the Hadley transfer station.
How do you know?
Because Solid Waste Solutions is a private company that manages that station.
So this is like a scale at the doctor's office.
Oh, so it's embarrassing to do in front of everybody?
One time on a tour, they had us stand on the scale and she weighed us all. That was a little embarrassing.
Well, if everybody's all together, then no one has to take the blame.
Yeah, we all take it corporately.
That's right.
We're all in this together.
We're going to go talk to Victoria in the booth, back in the Smurf. with Amy Donovan and Susan Waite, the trash queens of Western Mass. Okay, recycling
We're
queens
not
it is.
the only recycling queens, there's a few. Hi, Victoria.
What are you doing here, Vicki? Tell us what you
I
just saw the
operate-
truck come in.
I run and operate the scale. So when the trucks come in, if they're bringing in recyclables, I weigh them. Then they go dump what they bring in, and then when they come back on the scale, I give them a ticket with their empty weight. Now, if it's a truck that's gonna be taking things out of here, export, then when they come in, I weigh their Terra weight. They go back, they get loaded, and then they come back and give them their scale weight gross.
About how many trucks do you see a day on either side of this bringing in?
I see anywhere from 50 to 70 trucks a day.
Nice.
Yep.
How much did that last truck weigh?
The last truck weighed in at 40,340. That is a full weight because he's bringing stuff in.
So
I still have a couple of holiday pounds on me as well, so I totally get it.
And what about paper?
Paper is heavier. It's usually anywhere from 20 tons or 40 tons, depending on how much they were able to get in the truck.
Containers have air in them, so they take
Right.
up more space. They're holding a lot less weight in general because so much of that space is just air.
Yeah.
There are some communities that have compactors for their paper. You want it compacted if you're coming from the Berkshires, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there are a bunch of Berkshire's communities that are coming here to the Smurf. Yeah.
Oh, here comes another truck. You guys let her do her job.
Holyoke.
Holyoke's truck is orange. Kind of
like
cool.
it?
Yeah, I like it.
And Holyoke always comes in with paper first, and they also have bottles and cans.
Every time somebody says bottles and cans, I want to quote Beck.
Bottles and cans, or just clap your hands, or just clap your hands.
So they have two
sides.
Two sides.
Two sides in that same truck.
That's correct.
There they go, the Loadmaster of Holyoke.
Thanks
so much, Vicki.
Thank you.
Continuing our tour of the Springfield Materials Recycling Facility, the Smurf.
This is the observation deck.
Oh, whoa! Whoa!
There's a giant mountain of plastic containers.
We had
And
a
they're-
problem with one of our balers over the last couple days, so it's piled up a little bit.
I
You
can
got a
already
big-
see some things in here that are not supposed to be in here.
What do you see?
Well, there's like the Tidy Cat giant bin over there. Over there, there's a 5-gallon Kikkoman bucket that's not supposed to be in there.
So what happens to that? So there's the big, it was a small plastic container of cat litter, maybe, but the big bucket ones are in here. What will happen to that?
Well, so we have, as I said, two buildings. This is our commingled or containers building, and then we also have a fiber building. And in both places, we have what's called like a pre-sort, and the material, see that ramp up there? The material goes up the ramp, and then we have people who are picking out the stuff that cause problems. Large containers, people sometimes put, God knows why, rubber, garden hoses, plastic bags, all of that. We try to pull out as much of it as we can by hand with a human being so that it doesn't mess up the machinery. It really, really helps to keep your recyclables loose. No bags, please.
And if there is a black plastic bag ever put in recycling, even if it's filled with the most beautifully sorted and clean recyclables, they have to just throw the whole thing away because they are moving quickly here and they can't take time to investigate mysteries, and it could be something that could be dangerous for the workers. Like even trash could be dangerous if it's diapers or broken glass or something like that.
Yeah, you
So
don't know what's in a
they
black
have
plastic
to throw
bag.
it away.
No plastic bags, definitely no black plastic bags.
So there's the
Holyoke's about to dump.
They're dumping.
And they're just dumping one half of their dual stream truck.
That's
Oh yeah,
so neat.
it's cool. You're seeing one half of a dump truck dumping.
There's an automatic or a moving floor inside the truck that's pushing the material.
It is a little like the truck is just pooping garbage out into the pile.
Pooping garbage out of one cheek.
We don't call it garbage, Khalees. We call it recyclables.
Sorry, it is recycling.
There is a market for this material.
Yes.
I found my pickle jar.
No.
So sometimes when you look through here, you can see the magnet moving. Right across this bay is a giant magnet, and it's one of the first steps the material goes through. And it pulls out the steel cans and the cookie tins, and anything that is attracted to a magnet, not aluminum, because that is non-ferrous, so it doesn't get attracted by a magnet. That gets attracted by an eddy current further down the line. But that magnet is a really cool and an integral part of this plant to get that valuable steel material off the line and into a special container where it gets baled and sold to a company in Pennsylvania to be made into all kinds of metal items.
Aluminum is one of the magical materials in the world, and it can be recycled forever and ever. So there's no end to aluminum recycling, and it actually turns around from the beer can or soda can that you have to a new soda can take as little as 60 days.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's the reason that Monsoon mentioned they moved from compostable packaging to aluminum packaging for that very reason.
Monsoon Coffee, not far from here at the Springfield MRF.
They're around the corner from my house and they have the best coffee.
So make sure you recycle your aluminum. Don't throw it away.
You can see through here too, like all of the chutes with the stuff that can't get recycled, like bags and hangers and some of those. Yeah, things getting caught and tossed off the line.
And all the plastic bags,
Oh, yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And that's really just what's been gumming up the
Well,
works.
yeah, absolutely. And whether it's a blower, when it's really windy or whatever, we have quite a collection of unwanted plastic bags. If you want to recycle your plastic bags, take them to a special retailer with a plastic bag recycling program.
And in the same way, if you want to recycle electronics, Staples.
There you go.
Oh.
They recycle almost all electronics, including batteries. Like, it's a weird little known fact, but they do. So if that stuff is clogging up, instead of like trying to send it to a landfill,
Absolutely.
Staples.
The Springfield MRF is open for tours, of limited tours. So schools come and groups like adults from like community groups or churches can come and tour the MRF and see how it all happens. It's very educational. It's very interesting. Kids really love seeing the machinery moving and the giant piles of material waiting to be processed.
Plus, then they can keep their parents honest about what they actually toss
That's
into
right.
the recycling.
Yeah.
Yep, children are our future. Cue the song.
I decided long ago never to walk in anyone's shadow.
You can't take away my dignity.
Here we are. This is our storage area and our baling area. After materials have been separated, they go into this baler here and they get some steel binding wrapped around it so that it makes it much more easy to transport.
So there are these giant, what look like, 6 foot by 3 foot blocks. About how much do those weigh? Any idea?
Well, it depends on the material. The plastic is going to weigh
Hey,
less.
how's it going?
The aluminum is probably the heaviest. But go up close. It's really cool to see all the soda cans and beer cans smashed.
Yeah, it looks
to-
like
really
an
beautiful.
art piece at Mass Mocha.
Doesn't it? It looks like a Massimo. Look at this. Isn't it cool?
Yeah.
This is really awesome.
I'm just gonna move these to Mass Mocha and then tell them this is my new installation.
Your house is gonna smell terrible.
Who's gonna buy these? Like you said that part of the reason the Smurf, the Springfield Materials Recycling Facility, is so good is because there's a stream of people that are coming in to buy the stream
Right.
and recycle it.
We've been really lucky at the Springfield MRF because of the quality of our material. We've had very little trouble selling it even when the markets were bad. We have a lot of regional markets that we sell to, and some of our stuff goes overseas, but we sell it first to regional people and then they decide what to do with it.
There was a recent 60 Minutes episode that made my uncle, who ironically is part Murphy, believe that recycling does not exist, that like it's all fake, it's all going to a landfill anyway.
The press has really glommed on to a couple of misunderstood reports that originated from the EPA. And so the EPA has a data set that says only 9% of plastic is recycled, but that includes all plastics. So my glasses, my phone case,
My
your
car.
sneakers, your car, carpeting, medical supplies, office supplies. A lot of these things that I just mentioned are not acceptable in household recycling. So for some reason, the EPA has this data set that talks about all the plastic produced. Well, of all the plastic produced, 9% is the type that is accepted in recycling programs and is recycled. So it's a useful set of data because it talks about, okay, recycling is not taking care of all the plastics in the world. We're using a lot of plastics. It's not meant to demonize recycling and tell people that what you put in your bin is not recycled. That is not true. Here in Massachusetts, what you put in your bin is recycled. What comes into this facility, only 5 to 10% is thrown away because it's the wrong material, it's too large, it'll cause entanglement with the machinery. So we have very clear end markets and very clear materials that we accept, and it is successful. The press, except for you guys, isn't asking us about successful recycling programs. They're really focusing on what gets people to click that button on the internet.
Also, they're thinking of a macro level. At a macro level, yes, a small percentage of plastic is recycled, but when you look at what's considered recyclable, we actually have a really high rate of recycling. In the state of Massachusetts, counting single stream facilities, it ranges from 80 to 90%. 80 to 95% of what you put into your household recycling bin is actually recycled. It's actually sold to somebody who's going to make it into another material.
The domestic buyers for our material are sending trucks here to pick it up and paying for the transportation. So there is a demand for this material, especially really good clean material from a facility like this that does such a nice job separating materials. And our population in Western Mass is really well educated, especially the towns that participate in this program take the time to educate their residents, and we give out handouts
them
and
about
signs.
recycling.
That's right.
It doesn't matter how well educated you are when it comes in the big scheme of things, but are you educated about what goes into the bin and what shouldn't go into the bin? And we do a real good job of that in Western Mass.
Coming up, what famous book series did your paper recycling get turned into? What happens to the glass you recycle? Can you recycle plastic cups? Find out coming up as we continue our Earth Day tour of the Smurf.
And later in the show, Pizza Quest returns. We visit a brand new restaurant in Great Barrington, Uva.
You're listening to the Fabulous 413 on 88.5 NEPM. What happens to the glass? Because clearly you can't bale it.
Yeah, I'm not seeing the glass here. We're seeing aluminum. We're seeing cartons, like soy milk cartons and orange juice cartons.
A good array of the breweries in Western Mass.
Yeah. And then there's like milk cartons, plastic milk cartons. And then what is that? What kind of metal is that over there? Tin?
That is steel.
Oh, steel. Okay.
Yep.
So that gets attracted by the magnet. So the
Where's the
glass
glass?
is around the corner.
The glass is around the corner, and a lot of it breaks. We have a couple places that it gets sent, and one of them is Strategic Materials in Connecticut, and they sort it, and a lot of it is turned back into bottles and stuff like that. There's another place that gets a smaller percentage that's super exciting in my eyes called Positive. They actually are using ground glass as a substitute in concrete production.
Oh, cool.
And it's super, super environmentally friendly because it cuts the embodied carbon footprint of concrete by a significant amount. Glass is also something that can be recycled over and over and over and over. The market for it has been a little dicey because people aren't using glass beer bottles are kind of less popular. It hasn't been a super hot item, and we hope that that's going to change.
Keep drinking wine so
There
that
you
glass
go.
recycling will remain popular.
There you go. I think the other reason why glass has become less popular is its weight. Not every recycling program accepts cartons. We do here at the Springfield MRF.
Those don't go with paper, even though they may ostensibly
don't go
look
with
like
paper.
they're with paper.
That's right. It's a container, so it goes with your container recycling. The way these are produced, it's actually much easier to extract the paper. Even though there are linings of plastic or wax or whatever, it's easier to extract the paper from cartons.
Clear plastic cups are recyclable and accepted in recycling.
But red Solo cups,
Nope.
not.
Nope.
Neither is Toby Keith. Too soon?
Wait, is he dead?
Yeah.
Red Solo Cup.
Unfortunately, we can't go into the building, but you can see we're just about 15 feet away from a gargantuan pile of cardboard and mixed paper. And there are two lines here you can see. Again, we have a pre-sort just in case there are obvious huge things that are in the paper that shouldn't be. And then the cardboard gets separated from the rest of the paper, and they're baled independently.
I remember last time when we had our recycling conversation around the holidays, we got bombarded with a bunch of questions, none of which I can remember right now. One of which I can remember right now is envelopes with plastic windows.
Yes.
Recyclable? Do you have to take the plastic
You
window
can
out?
recycle those. You don't have to take the plastic window out. Same with tape on cardboard boxes. We don't want plastic liners and styrofoam that's inside of a cardboard box. But the tape, the plastic windows in the envelopes or a pasta box is okay because the recycling process, when it gets to the next stage after it leaves the Springfield MRF at a pulping facility, they break it up into its elemental form and they pulp it, and those kinds of contaminants rise to the surface and they scrape it off.
I can see a couple contaminants here that shouldn't be here. I see a styrofoam egg tray.
Oh, yeah.
Yet, no. Yeah, this is just paper. So junk mail, newspapers, magazines,
Even if it's
shipping
glossy,
boxes.
glossy paper too?
Yes, glossy paper too. In the U.S., paper it's doing really well right now, the markets, in part because of all the e-commerce that arose during the pandemic and has continued. So they need a lot of package boxes. So there's a big demand for this kind of material.
We have a really great end market for cardboard at the Springfield MRF. From here, Springfield, Mass., the paper is separated and the cardboard goes to Montvale, Connecticut, where it is pulped. And from there, it goes to Worcester, Mass., where it is made into cardboard boxes. So it could be sold from there right to, like, say, Holyoke, Amazon, and make a really short loop just through southern Massachusetts. So, it drives me crazy when people are saying, recycling isn't happening. And it's like, no, it's happening right here at our own back door. Never throw away cardboard.
Another great story from the Springfield MRF, and this is kind of old, but for Harry Potter fans, it will never get old. Our material here at the Springfield MRF was used for years to make hardback book covers for the Harry Potter book series. So we had a producer here that would buy from us. They liked our high quality paper, and they would make hardback book covers. So if you are the owner of a hardbound copy of Harry Potter, one of the Harry Potter books, it might be your newspaper or junk mail that was part of that.
You should buy them in used bookstores now, so as not to give J.K. Rowling any more of your money. You know why, J.K. Rowling. You know what you've been doing.
Also, I love that we're sitting here looking at this pile, and the thing that jumps out at me from this pile is a magazine over there that says "Beat the System."
Beat the system, and that's what we're doing.
And look over here, there's another contaminant. Somebody put their milk carton in with the paper.
Oh, don't put the milk cartons in with the
Nope.
paper. Put the milk cartons in with the container. So I'm not going to think of it as paper and plastic anymore. I'm going to think of it as paper and containers.
That's right.
Yeah.
Bottles, jars, jugs, tubs, cartons.
Someday
cans.
soon we're going to have that litany memorized.
I want to put it to music. I want to get some kind of a catchy jingle. Bottles, jars, jugs, tubs, cartons.
Bottles and cans, or just clap your hands, or just clap your hands.
Oh yeah, so here are the big container tractor trailer trucks getting loaded up with these giant bales. These all have cardboard in them.
Cardboard, yep.
I love this.
Oh, yeah, that clinking noise is the sound of broken glass being dropped into a giant pile. It's like an hourglass of glass.
So the glass actually gets broken because it's more efficient to transport it broken, but we still don't want broken glass coming in from residents because your collection worker can get cut.
What should you do if you break a glass at home? You shouldn't put it in the recycling?
That's right. You should wrap it up in like some cardboard or plastic, a thick plastic bag. And if you're like my grandmother, you would even like label it broken glass so that nobody gets cut.
What if I put broken glass inside another glass jar?
Whoa, Monty, that's advanced.
That's an advanced recycling I just invented.
Glass big enough to put your broken glass
In my
into.
pickle jar.
Your pickle jar is here. It's no longer yours.
My next pickle jar. It's really loud, but we're watching a baler bail all of this recycling.
Comes out of this door here. So it's kind of like Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, right?
So you get nothing. You lose. Good day, sir.
Oh, recycle
The
your
door's opening. Here comes a bale.
It looks like it's PET plastic, #1 plastic. I see some juice bottles and water bottles in there.
It's like the Play-Doh Playmaker factory.
Yeah.
See how it expands when it starts coming out? That's why they need to start putting the bands on it as soon as it comes out.
Ta-da! Hooray! I don't think he acknowledges our We're trying to applaud for the guy. He's probably not used to that. Oh, no, he waved. Okay, good.
And this is why they offer earplugs when you come in for a tour.
Yeah, I saw there was an earplug dispenser. That's very wise.
We have really great management team here. Safety is really important. Our employees do warm-up exercises in the morning to prevent repetitive stress issues, and we have a really great record here. It's something we're really proud of.
Back into the education room, where your tour will start if you decide on a school group or a church or a religious group, and you can get a tour of this Smurf like we've had today. But just in the last week, in your local newspaper, you have a comprehensive guide to what can and can't be recycled thanks to the Smurf Advisory Board, right?
That's right, Monty. So on Thursday, the 18th, the Reduce, Reuse, Recycle guide for the Northern Pioneer Valley was inside the Daily Hampshire Gazette, the Greenfield Recorder, the Athol Daily News, and the Amherst Bulletin. And so it's a 32-page guide that details everything you can and can't recycle, and also gives a lot of other opportunities for diverting those materials from the trash if they're not accepted in your local recycling program. Then we also have our sister publication, the Reduce, Reuse, Recycle guide that was in the Springfield Republican on the 19th, Friday, and that is available online. You can go online to those newspapers and still find the guide. And then you can also get these guides throughout the year at any time. We post them on our website, which is springfieldmurf.org.
And that's MRF.
That's right.
Not Smurf.
Not like every Irish person I knew growing up. How many Murphs do I know?
Too many.
100. Murphs and Sullys.
But there are lots of other resources available to people. The springfieldmurf.org website has not only the browsable issues of these guides, but we have a bunch of posters and printable materials. And we have just produced 5 new videos in the last 12, 18 months. One is about what happens to materials after they leave the MRF, and one is about the things that we don't want in the paper stream. Those are all available. The 4 subject-specific ones are available in English, Spanish, Ukrainian, Russian, and Turkish. Also, the state has a really excellent public-facing website called Recycle Smart MA. And Recycle Smart MA has similar recycling guides. They have them in 12 languages. And they also have a recyclopedia, which is really great and easy to use. You type in what you want to recycle, and it tells you whether it's actually recyclable or not. And the material that's on that website holds true for the entire state of Massachusetts. RecycleSmartMA.org.
Thank you so much for giving us this great tour.
Well, we're delighted that you came. You're now part of the trash family.
I am part Murph, so there you go. I guess I've always been part of the trash family. You know who I'm talking about.
Oh, I love trash.
It's Oscar. I was playing around with RecycleSmartMA.org because our engineer Betsy Cordes was like, what about glass jars with metal lids? So you go to RecycleSmartMA.org and you type in glass jars, metal lids, and it all comes up there. You can do it.
Yep.
Put the lid on. If the lid is bigger than a credit card, then it can be recycled on its own. But if it's too small, it can't. So,
Right.
But play around with this stuff. It's Earth Day. It's fun.
Yeah. Since we know now that it's okay to recycle your pizza boxes, maybe we should have an Earth Day pizza.
Pizza Quest returns. It's our ongoing mission to find the best pizza in Western Mass. And by sheer luck, we stumbled into Great Barrington's newest wood-fired pizza restaurant just minutes after they opened their doors on their first day of business. We'll take you to Uva next.
You're listening to the Fabulous 413 on 88.5 NEPM.
The Fabulous 413 podcast is funded by Northeast Solar, offering solar options, energy security, and solutions for the local community. Learn more at northeast-solar.com.
In some ways, this is a very fortuitous moment, auspicious even, where a brand new restaurant opened in Great Barrington. We heard from our friend Mary Dare, who has a new shop selling wine right across the way, that maybe they would be open today.
And I mentioned that when we passed their doorway, that the door was open, and so we should at least check.
So we walked in, and we are literally the first customers ever of this brand new restaurant. Is that true?
You're 100% right, yes.
What's your name?
My name is Adrian Misakango. I'm one of the owners of both the Elm Restaurant and now Uva Pizza Vino.
Uva means grape, right?
Uva means grape, and also it's funny. We name our strawberry lab Uva because it's a red lab, and we just like the name. We kind of like the dog too, but.
At first, I thought you had a laboratory that studied strawberries.
Oh no!
And called it Uva, and I was like, you
I think
shouldn't
that's pretty
call it
awesome.
that.
That's subversive.
Yes, but no, a dog. We have a segment on our show that we call Pizza Quest, where we go and are trying to find the best pizza in Western Massachusetts. We already decided in advance it was your first day, and we are your first customers. We're not going to judge you by the same rubric that we've been judging everybody else.
But holy Jesus, did you knock it out of the park?
You really did! I mean, we're not lying. It was delicious. We'll talk about our review of the pizza in a second.
We'll do our pizza thing outside because we don't have to take. We want to talk to you about.
We want to talk
space.
to you about this, and so we're in Great Barrington. It's Uva. By the time you hear this, it will no longer be the opening day. We will no longer be the first customers and only customers in here. But we were titillated by the byline in the menu about the pedigree of the pizzaiolo. What's your name?
My name's Taven Barrera.
Taven, you are a trained pizza maker.
I am,
yeah. Tell us about that.
Well, recently I spent some time down in the city at a restaurant that Adrian previously worked at and had ties to, Keste, down on Fulton Street in Manhattan. And I went through their pizza academy and spent the week just making pizzas and learning how to do it the real Neapolitan way. I was learning from a guy named Eduardo. He's been working there for 15 years. Mm-hmm. He's a master pizzaiolo, and he took the time to train me.
Who knew there was a pizza academy?
Not me before that.
Did you have experience making pizza before this?
Yeah, so my first job ever in a restaurant, I was 16 years old, was at a pizzeria, and I've kind of been making pizzas on and off ever since. My previous restaurant that I worked at, we had a wood fire oven, so this isn't my first time working with a wood fire. And just on and off through my whole career, I've always kind of come back to pizzas.
How different is it working in Neapolitan style from some of the other styles of pizza that you've worked with?
Very different. The dough is very wet, and so you have to really take the time to stretch it properly. Otherwise, you get a hole in it. Whereas working with like New York style doughs, they're a lot more forgiving, and that's where you see people throwing the doughs around and stuff like that because you can.
You two may have had pizza like this before, but I don't think I did, where the crust had what we like to call leoparding. It's got the char marks on the bottom, but a lot of times that makes it a little crispier. This was like eating a cloud. The crust was so light and fluffy. That's because of how wet it was?
That has a lot to do with how wet the dough is and a lot to do with how hot the oven is.
Uh-huh.
So we're running that oven around 1,000 degrees.
Whoa.
So the pizzas cook in about 90 seconds. If we drop the temperature a little bit, it would let the pizza sit on the stone a little longer, and we would be able to have a little bit more crisp and a little more crunch to it. But the way it is now, the way the oven's set up in the real Neapolitan fashion, it's real hot, and 90 seconds, pizza's in and out.
Yeah, and like you were talking about New Haven style with coal fire and thinking that the temperature is like the same. New Haven runs around like 600, 700, which is why you can let it sit in there for longer.
Tony Dunn, our director.
With a wood-fired oven, how do you control the temperature? And there's different spaces within the oven, right, that yield different temperatures for different cooking?
Yeah, so one of the things as far as controlling temperatures is really moving the pizzas around. So we drop a pizza on the stone, and that spot is automatically cooled down by the cool dough and the toppings and stuff. So then to get that bottom, we got to continue to move them and spin them around, and that's kind of how we have the most control. With the wood fire, we really don't have full control, but we do our best to kind of manipulate what we can.
Is there like a magic to eyeballing it? Like you can just tell, some people like cook a steak on the grill, they'll poke it and be like, oh, it's like this part of your hand. They'll be able to tell if it's like medium or well or rare.
Don't use that, use a thermometer.
Yeah, is there a trick when you're looking in that oven that looks like looking into the depths of hell that like tells you something about where your pizza's at?
Yeah, so luckily I'm working with this guy, Jose, who's been making pizzas for a long time. And this oven was put in this space in 2017, and he was working here then. So he's familiar with the oven, and he's got the look down, and he was the one who cooked your pizza. I made it, and then I put it in the oven, and he cooked it. So he's really got the experience with the look. And
trust Jose.
So this was already a pizza spot before you took it over.
Yes, it was a pizza spot before we took over, but it has taken us this long to actually execute it and actually open. It's been hard to find the right staff to, especially with the cooking with this kind of oven. You need real craft, technique. And we were lucky to find Taven, and we've been working for the last couple of months and getting ready to open Uva.
And you said that this restaurant is in a partnership with another restaurant. What's the other restaurant?
It's called The Elm. It's right next door, same building. At The Elm, we identify ourselves as a casual fine dining. We've been getting a lot of amazing feedback from people that Great Barrington needs a casual fine dining restaurant, white tablecloth. We also have a 15-seat classic bar. It's been an icon here in this building. This bar has been here for at least 100 years, if not longer. So that tells that it was brought from the Commodore Hotel in Manhattan. We don't know if that's accurate, but we're going with it.
Sometimes the myth is better than the truth.
I kind of want to ask about the sausage because sausage is a thing, especially house-made sausage is a thing for me. People don't do it right around here a lot of the time, but yours is fantastic. And this is one of the ways that we branched out of our usual pizza quest. We usually have like 2 specific pies that we get wherever we go, but I saw this on your menu and that you had A, oyster mushrooms on a pizza, and B, house-made sausage, and like we kind of gotta.
And both of them were exquisite.
Right, so how much of the ingredients that you're using are you making in-house, and how important is that to your whole process?
As much as we can. We make the sausage from scratch. We get the pork butts in. We grind the meat ourselves. Yeah, we try to use as much local produce, seasonal stuff. We have the vegetarian pizza, which has, fresh artichoke hearts that we're back here peeling. We're not using the stuff out of the can. So yeah, it's really important.
Good on you, because
it's not fun.
That was my least favorite job in prep.
Yeah, for sure. It's awful. But it's worth it in the end, It's a small window of the season.
So much, it's so much waste. It's like, okay, that's all going, half of this is going in the compost. And then when you think you've got all the choke out, you haven't.
It's true. It's true.
Well, we almost were going to just decide not to come here because we knew it was your first day. We didn't know if you were open, but A, never been the first customer in a restaurant ever, and B, holy crap, we found an amazing pizza
This is
shop.
absolutely fantastic. I cannot wait to tell people about it. I'm so excited that we're going to put this on the radio.
The chef special is the way to go, without a doubt.
And is that going to change over the course of the year? It's always going to be kind of at your whim?
Yeah, so the chef special is going to be, we want to play with some fun, funky stuff and, try to showcase just who we are and do different things.
What are you excited about in opening a new restaurant? I mean, it's a whole another thing, opening new space for people that no one's encountered before. What are you excited about?
I mean, the whole process has been pretty exciting. We had our friends and family last night, just to test some pies out, and the energy in the space was great. The pizza oven's great. So the whole thing is really exciting.
Well, Uva, it's both my baby at home and it's my baby here in Great Barrington. Super excited. We've been working nonstop, just little details here and there. Even just a little bit of paint makes a huge difference.
Yeah.
So very, very excited to be bringing authentic Neapolitan-style pizza to Great Barrington in the Berkshires.
So if you find yourself down an alley looking at a lot of paintings of W.E.B. Du Bois, just know that, to your right, there's probably a really good pizza spot.
Right.
Go in early. There's not a lot of tables.
Or go visit our friend Mary Dare at the new Dare Bottle Shop, which is literally across the alleyway there. So. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, guys.
This was so good. Yeah. It was so good. I'm so sad that my pizza is gone.
Yeah, me too.
I eat on the pasta twice just.
Uva in Great Barrington is that pizza joint.
It is. It's so good. We said we wouldn't discuss our feelings about the pizza there, so we should do it here.
Because would have been awkward because it was just us and then everybody that worked in the restaurant.
Getting everything straight for
a minute before
service.
They opened for the first day ever. Tony Dunn, our director, what do you think?
We were just discussing this off air, and we going in, we said it wouldn't be fair to really sort of compare this. Not only do we not get the same pizza we always get, but opening day for a shop, it's really not fair to sort of compare in the true sense of Pizza Quest. That said, this was definitely in my top 3. It sounds like it was in your top 3 as well, without a doubt.
Definitely.
Unanimity that it's in the top 3.
Yeah, for sure.
With Bohema in Lenox, Magpie in Greenfield.
Yep.
Yeah.
With Berkshire Mountain Pizza, a close fourth for your wife, who's a huge fan.
My wife is a New York style pizza purist, and anything else to her is not pizza.
So
I disagree.
So technically,
personally.
none of the places that we've mentioned make pizza.
No.
For her.
Nope.
Okay.
Nope.
But if you want some of the lightest crust that you've had, Uva in Great Barrington, absolutely amazing.
Well, tomorrow on the Fabulous 413, we're going back to the Berkshires to hang out at the Triplex and hear what it takes to revive a community theater and get it to thrive.
And we'll find out all about the jazz journeying to Pittsfield for the Jazz Stroll, which continues through this week.
And on our way to the Berkshires, we'll stop at a cozy family farm bringing produce, flowers, CSAs, and wine to Western Mass when we check in with the women behind Kaczynski Farm in Westfield.
Which is somehow magically like 3 farms, but I've been learning over the past year that not all farms are contiguous.
That's right. This is Marcus Roberts, who's playing at the Berkshire Jazz Marquee Show on Saturday night. So we'll hear more about this on tomorrow's show. I'm Monty Belmonte.
I'm Khalees Smith. We'll see you tomorrow on the Fabulous 413.